PAY does is it's an after-school program which takes a holistic approach towards development. So we work with the whole child. We offer life skills, academic and sports in a low-income community. And initially when the Physically Active Youth program started, it was to support grade 10 learners in Karutura, and that is a low-income community in Windhoek, and the grade 10 pass rate within this community was about 26%. We are a development through sports organization. We use sports as our most important tool for learning structure, discipline, team play, and just, general behavior amongst kids.
We are in single quarters in Karutura and it's very busy here. We just saw people slaughtering cattle, getting the kapana ready, and yeah, we good.
Sports in Namibia has changed over the years. It has changed somewhat. We come from a country which was divided between races, black and white. Now, you would know that some of the sports disciplines are very expensive sports disciplines, such as cycling, and these sports disciplines were exclusively white. Blacks could not participate in this sports discipline because they simply did not have the money. And on top of that, the government structure which was there did not really encourage them to participate in this sports discipline. Now, after our independence, we have tried and we have really transformed some of these sports disciplines. Now, sometimes you can legislate things, but it takes a while to change attitudes. Again, the resistance is still there to some extent. We have not resolved that one. And that's a difficult one. As I said, you can put in laws in place, but to change people's attitude, it takes time and it will take generations.
My name is Martin Shea. I've been at PAY for 4 years now. I've been involved in activities that happen here like cycling, swimming. Cycling is a very unique sport actually and very expensive. It took me to places that I've never been before. I came Walvis Bay, Swakopmund, Kaanja, and etc. I would like to compete in the Olympics, 2016 Olympics, Rio de Janeiro. I'd like to do triathlon there. I go for my dreams and I never give up easily. Never try this at home.
Hello, I'm Villamina Shikwa. I'm the previous PAY Physically Active Youth PAY coordinator. I coordinated the program for the past 2 years, and before that I worked as an academics officer. Before that I was a physically active youth program, and before that I was a participant. So PAY and I kind of have a history together. How Blomshik started was actually because of PAY, because during my time coordinating the program, we were a bit short of money. We didn't have enough funds to go around to run the program effectively. And as youth, we are taught to be innovative and creative and find means, new ways of raising funds for ourselves, because we relied on donors and we wanted that to change a bit. That we can, when you entirely rely on donors, you find the time that you stand still and you can't do much and you can't carry on with your program because you don't have money, and we all know that most of the things that we do in the NGO world requires money. And when you don't have a sustainable source per se, you might find yourself stuck. Sometimes you can't afford to run your programs as it's effectively supposed to be. So that's how more or less Blomshik was born. So one day we were here with the children and we couldn't go on trips, and sometimes we didn't have bread money for the children, and we looked at, so what skills do we have as the PAY team? What can we do that could help us raise funds?
We started off with t-shirts from Namibia, made by Namibians, that you can only find in Namibia. And so we started off in her room, and we'll sit there every Saturday and we just work on t-shirts that are made with bead and painted t-shirts. And then recently we started off with sewing cycling caps as well.
The hardest part of making this cap is usually just this part, getting the cut. Because if you mess up on getting the cut, then the cap might not turn out the way you want it to. For this part she has to cut it double material. For this one she just cuts a single material, and for this one she also cuts a single material.
Yeah.
It's a collective effort, so what we do is we use some of the pay girls to work on the caps and the t-shirts with us, because 50% of the money goes back to pay to feed the kids, basically, so that at the end of the day we giving back to the community and just not having everything for us.
This is a beautiful place.
Cycling started off with pay in about 2006, 2007, and it's a spin-off. It's not that we wanted to start cycling as a sport. It was a spin-off to the transport challenge. So one of the primary concern for Namibian learners in school is hunger. The secondary concern is transport to school. And we had received a donation of 100 bicycles, which we, California bikes, so we distributed them to kids. And the spin-off of that was all the kids riding to the center, out of the center to school, and creating a sense of mobility and independence and regular attendance of school came our cycling program, because then they wanted to participate in, minor cycling events. And between 2006 and 2012, we then decided to pay attention to these kids and start cycling as a full-on sports code.
Special bike. Customer made bike for me.
This bike is better than all these bikes here. It's the number one bike here. Even the road bikes with the wheels. This one is bigger, wider, and faster.
We have athletes with potential. If you go around and you see some of our little guys playing sports, but the unfortunate reality, because there is not much money put into sports, a lot of these young people, they get discouraged.
With the Nedbank Challenge only happening once a year, we've been looking at ways of how we can become involved in cycling and cycling development in particular over a more sustained period of time. And that's how we happened across what the Physically Active Youth Organization has been doing for a good number of years. And they've just started getting a cycling team ready. Ultimately looking at instilling a sense of discipline, but making sure that they are exposed to an environment that teaches discipline, yes, but also making sure that they have the sense of wanting to live a healthy lifestyle. To look at a group of young, enthusiastic cyclists wanting to make their mark, not only in cycling, but in the world, as it were, and hopefully through that generate income, and to make sure that they're able to cater for their families. And that ethos that the physically active youth organization espouses is one that sits well and resonates well with Nedbank. You know, teamwork, accountability, involvement, all of those are aspects that we actively encourage.
During my first visit to the Pace Center, when I was talking to the guys, I actually said that if you guys work hard and if you're conscientious, someone in this group could actually ride at the next Commonwealth Games. As I said it, I kind of felt like I just told them a massive lie, because it suddenly hit me the massive battle that would lie ahead of them. It was almost a year later that MJ actually admitted to me that as soon as I said that, she also just rolled her eyes and thought, here's another advantaged white person coming into Katatura and making promises that it's just not going to happen. And here we are now. It's almost hard to believe, but there are 3 guys who have in some other way come through the center, who are in the running for the Namibia national team. And it's from feeling like an absolute fake to now be sitting here and saying that they're 3 guys who might actually make that true is really astounding, and it shows how much can be done with so little and how important a project like this is.
Dan Craven was interested in what we're doing with Blomschiek, and so he came in contact with us and asked if we could make cycling caps. We made the samples, we got them with MJ's sister who was on her way to England. She got them to England, and voila, that's how everything started. And our first batch was that one, and now we just sent off new batch with them as they went cycling to Gabon. So our caps in a very short time have already received international exposure. So I'm sure if we keep this up, something that just started off as just an idea to raise money for an NGO, it could potentially become a world-renowned business. We're very, very, very excited.
The meeting has to be take the word of God to and make a pain progress with the Holy Spirit. 2010 New Year, there was a beast in front of me. The fact is a cross Jesus. Believe in Jesus as the Holy Spirit from God. I just a soldier, I be good. But she found the Balashak, I just a soldier, I be good. But she found the Balashak, I just a soldier, I be good.
It was at a very low scale from its initial program, but they took the initiative. 1, a group of young women took this initiative, and 2, they were able to keep the program running. Yeah, and today they are able, they take on orders for conferences and that sort of thing, and workshops.
Did the desert dash last year from Windhoek to Swakop without resting, all way ride.
That's a long way.
Yeah. 365 Ks, you see on the back. I'll also do this year's desert dash. Now I hope I'll improve and I'll ride better than last year's. I got the experience now. DMC gave me all the way.
Best Martin's choice.
Best Martin's choice.
My name is Selma Moana. I am a PAY participant. I got involved with the group since 2011 and I've been here ever since. And I joined cycling in 2012 and I also joined swimming in the previous years. I swim not only for learning how to swim but also for competitions. We've done some biathlons, triathlons. And some of the guys went to Cyprus and South Africa for training, and we also do cycling. We compete in competitions, we go, and we have the bigger guys that went out, and The program has changed me. I mean, first time I came here, I was like, I didn't know how to swim or to cycle. So they taught us everything, and it has brought a change in my life. It taught us many things, like how to communicate to others, how to share, to be friendly and all that, so it has changed me.
Takes me places.
With the girls that cycles here, just in general, because we don't have cycling is basically more a guy thing right now in Namibia. So to see local communities like from Katutura cycling, that's actually exciting to see, because with cycling it teaches them discipline, it teaches them respect, and they just become this amazing people that are from a very hardship, hard conditioned or poverty kind of part of Katutura to this very well presented girls that are trying to build their a life into cycling, and maybe they can go ride the world, the Commonwealth one day.
Could you win a cycle classic race with that?
Yes. Blomsheek is really exciting. I mean, until now, the pace center, you know, it always had the boys and the girls doing things, but the cycling is kind of, it's gone off on a tangent, and it's all been about the boys riding bikes, and the girls have kind of been left behind. And it's obviously never been intentional, but it's still catching up with the girls. But now with Blomsheek, the girls were already sewing things, so it's not as if we thought, oh, they're girls, they can sew. And it's something that's their own. It's something that the girls can ride like the boys, but the boys are never going to have this manufacturing side of things. And I think that's really great. It's giving these young girls from the township something that's their own, something that is really special. Cycling caps aren't something that's really known in Namibia, but because of the cycling, they've got this link to it. So it makes it special here, because they're the only ones who will have it. And selling it overseas, I mean, just knowing the story of where it comes from, I think they've got such a cool story that they'll be amazing products.
The caps that we make have a combination of fabrics between African print fabrics and just plain cotton fabrics, as well as a slightly addition of some recycled material. We saw this opportunity as a point of also recycling some clothing items that we get. So we also trying to put on a vintage feel to it, but all the other fabrics are a sense of representation to us, in the sense that part of them, it's an African fabric. So we are at this stage in the world whereby Africa is trying to make a positive mark on itself, and one thing that we also have to promote is our fabrics that it's our cultural items, and that's how we get to pick the kind of fabrics that we use. Because when we grew up as kids, our parents would dress us in similar dresses. If you have 3 sisters, then all of you would wear, say, a similar dress, similar design, similar color. The only thing that usually changes how you make your dress yours, sometimes you change the button. They all come with the same button, but you plug off one button and you put on one different, and that's how you mark that this is my dress. The same thing we do with the caps. It's either we put a little bead on the end, or the cut of the fabric differs.
I remember the T-Rex Swartland tribe, the Zouatland tribe. I mean, it was the beginning of when we started cycling. When I started cycling, in my races, I always used to come third. So, and then this particular day, I came first. So that was like the happiest day ever.
As a country, Namibia, we come from division. We were divided along racial group and along ethnic groups or tribal groups. Now we have changed. We have a constitution where we say we are all equals. But as parents, we still have those divisive attitudes. And until we change and start to instill another attitude in our children which bring our nations together, Namibia will still remain a divided nation. And that's when I say the youngsters today who are meeting, if these children now start to accept each other as Namibians rather than Namibians from different ethnic groups or different racial groups, and start to instill that in their children, then Namibia hopefully will become a united nation. That's why I say the onus is on the current generation, what they are going to teach their children.
They come from an economically compromised neighborhood, and then Namibia having the world's first or second largest income disparities, it means that they come from a really poor community, and the chances of them skipping over to the other side are really low. And the disparity in income is depicted in almost everything, but most importantly in health and education. So the fact that you are on this side of town automatically means that you receive some form of substandard education. And these are the kids that we are dealing with, and this is the community that we work with. And what we've learned over the last few years is when you create opportunities for young children, and this is what we do, is you then say, okay, fine, we recognize that we're sorry that your family structure is challenging, and we recognize that you're getting substandard education, but that doesn't make you dull. You know, it means that you just need opportunities. And that's what the PAY program does. The PAY program comes and says, okay, let's give you those opportunities as though all these obstacles were not there.
Basta.